Dear racing fans, we've been waiting for you. We've been working, prepping, training, putting together thrilling races, high stakes, favorite traditions, and fresh experiences. From right on the rail to the top of the hill. Whether it's your first meet or your 50th, we can't wait to welcome you back this fall. Love, Keeneland.
And welcome in, everyone. It's the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast. Jeremy Plonk here from Horse Player Now. Hope you're having a good Saturday evening or Sunday morning if you're checking in on the archives. We're here each and every night, 8:30 Eastern, previewing the next day's racing at Keeneland, and we come up on a big one. Spinster Sunday will wrap up opening weekend and Fall Stars weekend coming up here. First post, 1 o'clock on Sunday for a 10-race card. We're going to review a little bit what happened on a big Saturday here in Kentucky and around the country, really, when it comes to Breeders' Cup implications, major stakes races in New York, in California, and north of the border at Woodbine. But we'll focus here on Keeneland, where it was the John Velazquez show today. How about the Hall of Famer? 50 years young plus 5-win day today for Johnny V. He won 2 stakes races, the TCA with Praying, and then he got the big win on the card with Ted Naffey in the Breeders' Futurity. He paired up with Todd Pletcher to win that one, and Pletcher had a big day. 3 wins on the day for trainer Todd Pletcher. His horses, there was a little bit of talk after opening day. Maybe a couple of his big ballyhooed horses on opening day just ran okay and not great. Today was a great day to be in the Todd Pletcher barn. He was absolutely on it. Wesley Ward had 2 winners as well today, including Hartley in the last race. Hartley's a 2-year-old first-time starter who really turned heads. Good-looking debut winner. Rebroke at the top of the stretch. And believe it or not, in the 21st race of the meet, I'm not sure how many of them were on dirt, but became the first wire-to-wire winner on dirt in the first 2 days of racing. Last race of the card on the second day. We're not used to seeing that at Keeneland. Really nice performance by Hartley, and the fact that horses haven't been winning wire-to-wire kind of puts a little feather in his cap when you're handicapping down the road. He's a horse, Hartley, that you want to keep an eye on. Favorites won 4 of 11 on the card today to go with 6 of 10 on opening day, so 10 for 21 for the favorites so far in the meet. Another nice win today in Stakes Company for jockey Frankie Dettori. He had a win yesterday in Stakes Company on opening day. Picked up another one on the turf sprint circuit here with Kadem winning the Woodford Stakes. So a big win. Frankie's riding great on the turf. A couple stakes wins already for him. Looking forward to seeing what he'll do throughout the course of the meet. Of course, opening day, the big trainer was Brendan Walsh, winning 3 races on the card. He really didn't have much to go. He had also eligible at scratch and a first-time starter running here on the second day of the meet. Brendan Walsh is loaded in the entries for Sunday, so we'll see. Walsh, Pletcher coming off the top 2 big days for the trainers. Wesley Ward's barn's going well early in the meet. We'll see how all 3 of those may play out here on the Sunday program. We'll handicap that in just a moment. As for me, I can't get any of my key plays in. The price plays just aren't firing for me right now. Had another 3-win day on top, but they were all short prices. So 6 for 21 on the meet, but not hitting anything of any significance. A lot of favorites amongst those 6. So we got to get some of these price horses to start clicking for us. Hopefully that starts right now as we get handicapping for the Sunday card. Want to remind you, we do have a carryover to talk about for Sunday Super High 5. Final race on the program is the Toyota Super High 5. $12,990.29. The carryover going into the Super High 5. That'll challenge you to hit the final or the first 5 finishers in order in the final race on the card. Here's the snapshot of the program for Sunday. 10 races for you overall. We'll have the traditional early pick 5, late pick 5. No overlap there. Early pick 5 will be the first 5 on the card. Late pick 5, the final 5 races on the program. Early pick 4 is going to start in races 2 through 5. The late pick 4 will be the final 4, races 7 through 10. I've got 3 key plays for you on the card. They'll be in races 3, 6, and 7. Stakes races on the program include the Indian Summer for the 2-year-old turf sprinters. That's race number 8. The Spinster in race number 9, where the horse of the year from last year, Torpedo Anna. Can't believe I got 4 minutes into the podcast and didn't mention her name, but she's the headliner on this Sunday in the Spinster Stakes. Then the Bourbon Stakes for 2-year-old turf routers will wrap things up. Keeneland Turf pick 3 races, 6, 8, and 10. And as we mentioned, that Toyota Super High 5 in race number 10, that will wrap up with a carryover of 12,000 plus if you can take down the Super High 5. Let's get handicapping on this 10 race card. We're going to start things off. It should be, again, fast, firm conditions forecast. Again, low 80s. The weather is not breaking. I think the first break in the weather might be coming on Tuesday. If you look at the extended forecast over the next few days, we'll see if that changes by the time we get to week 2. But again, fast and firm, the conditions that we're expecting. The main track has not been playing to speed per se. I mean, a good horse near the front is obviously advantage, but you can come from off the pace here on the sandy kind of loose cuppy racetrack that we have, as dry as the conditions have been at Keeneland. Let's go to race number 1 on the card and get handicapping. We'll go to the Keeneland selectors box. You can check out my picks and everyone's top 3 picks of the public handicappers at Keeneland. Go to Keeneland.com and click on the handicappers consensus. We're going to start things off in race number 1 with the 4 for me on top, Yuma Shadow. This one's coming in from Ellis Park off an effort July the 4th, a winning effort, looking for back-to-back wins. Matt Sims, the trainer. Luan Machado's had his struggles at the meet. He was DQ'd out of a win in the Alcibiades Stakes earlier on opening day. Then he had a tough ride on Arrest Me Red. You guys who backed Arrest Me Red like I did today know that was not a very textbook positive ride from Mr. Machado. So I've got it with Yuma Shadow. Maybe it's last call for Machado if he doesn't get this one home for us. We might start working against him on some bets throughout the rest of the meet. Jay Rivers, second choice in here, coming out of the Churchill race, 9-5 on the morning line. I've got it 4, 1, and 2 in the opener. The 2, just an opinion, top choice in here for Scott. Also top pick for Kim, 3-1 in the morning line. That one coming off an effort at Churchill Downs last time. The Churchill runners do seem to have a run of these races in these dual condition claimers like we have in race number 1. We've had 15 of them in fall meets in the past. 8 of those wins coming from horses who prepped at Churchill Downs. Now, I took a horse from Ellis Park in here. Ellis Park runners won 2 races on opening day, so that was a good sign to see those horses from Ellis in the summer. Took a little time off. They didn't go for the turf meet at Kentucky Downs, laid up, and then came back and won 2 dirt races on opening day. So the Ellis horses may be running here, with some success. Yuma Shadow, we hope, can pull that off. Dual condition claimer in the opener, as I mentioned, if you're newer to racing or just haven't heard that term a lot, dual condition means there's 2 different ways you can be eligible for the race. This race is for horses that have never won 3 races lifetime. So the max you could have would be 2 career wins. Or if you're a 3-year-old, you could be in this race and have as many wins on your resume as you'd like. So that's the 2 conditions to be eligible and why we call it dual condition. But none of the horses in here had won more than 3 lifetime, no matter what their age were. So it's basically a straight up non-winners of 3. Let's go to the second race on the program, race number 2 on Sunday at Keeneland. 6.5 furlong sprint here. These are 2-year-old maiden claimers. We had one of these opening day in the 2-year-old maiden claiming races. You're looking for a horse with a little bit of experience. The experienced horses have the statistical edge here. You don't see a lot of first-time starters winning 2-year-old maiden claiming races. You see that in the maiden specials because the good 2-year-olds, they're protected in a maiden special weight race. And if they can really run and win it first asking, that's where they want to be running. Horses that are debuting for a maiden claiming tag, if you're in these races, you probably haven't shown a whole lot in the morning, and so there's not a lot of promise behind those. So it makes a little sense that in a 2-year-old maiden claiming race, you're not looking for the first-time starters. Horses with experience have had the most success. Number 10, Posh Posh, is going to be the one that I take in here. This horse has run twice at Colonial Downs in Virginia. First start was the second-place finish, and you say, second place at Colonial, beaten 9 lengths. The winner in that race, Come On Eileen, is a Brittany Russell trainee who was very, very impressive. Come On Eileen came back, and she's a West Virginia bred. She came back in stakes company in her second start and blitzed an easily field at Charlestown in the John McKee Stakes. So she came out of a really good race on the dirt. The last race at Colonial was in the slop, and she kind of gave it up that day, faltering late. I'm going to give her a chance to bounce back in here. Number 10, Posh Posh at 8-1, my top choice in race number 2 to get that early pick 4 started. This isn't a race where I think you just get by using one. I think you want to go a little bit deeper in here in a pick 4 ticket. Number 4, Zumaha, is by Omaha Beach, and Zumaha is probably the way we're pronouncing this. Second place finish last time out by Omaha Beach. Omaha Beach is a sire, gets 26% winners over the main track here at Keeneland, had 3 wins during the spring meet by his offspring on the main track. I would imagine Zumaha, the 4, can run a little bit here in this particular spot, so I will use that one as well. The 8's worth consideration, Warm Up the Bus, a horse for trainer Mike Tomlinson, who's run a couple good races. Tomlinson teaming up here with Tyler Gaffleone, a jockey he doesn't get very often, so I would give a consideration here to the top 3 choices, 10, 4, and 8. If you're looking for a first-time starter, Miss Mo Magic, the 6, probably the first time starter that interests me the most. If you look at the other handicappers here across the way, Posh, top pick for Scott as well. Zomahal, the horse I've got picked second, is top picking here for Kim. Number 12, G Rocks, is the top pick in here for Tom, and Tom's on the island. Nobody else has G Rocks listed anywhere in here. G Rocks coming off a Churchill effort in September for Dallas Stewart. 4-1 in the morning line, so not a big long shot, but the rest of us aren't getting behind that wagon. 10, 4, and 8, the way I would try to get through race number 2 in this particular spot. Let's move on now to the third race on the program, and it's my first key play on the card. Key plays for me are horses that I think can, create good exotics value or straight up offer really good value in the win pool and get us a nice price play. We haven't had a lot of success trying to land these so far at the meet, but we're going with number 8, Sudden Switch, as our first key play on the card on the Sunday program. Sudden Switch to the outside, a daughter of Munnings. The Munnings have run well here at Keeneland, especially during the spring meet, and this horse was one of those spring meet winners by Munnings, winning here in Allowance Company back in April. Horse for course, back over the track. Last time out was on the turf at Kentucky Downs. Did run that great in that one. Draw a line through it, and I think this horse, Sudden Switch, gets back to the main track for trainer Riley Mott and gets to the winner's circle. Outside post position going 7 furlongs is kind of advantageous in that you avoid some traffic. You got a long run to the only turn, and with blinkers on, I don't expect Sudden Switch to be very far off the pace. In fact, could be right on the lead in this particular spot. So that outside post kind of takes away some of the trouble variables as far as getting in traffic and being in between other horses. So I like Sudden Switch in here at 5-1. Going to be my first key play of the day. Churchill Downs horses do extremely well here. Horses prepped at Churchill in the 7 furlong allowance races during the fall meet. We've had 58 such races. 20 of the winners have come via Churchill Downs. Favorites, you want to demand a little bit of value in this kind of race like that. And I think at 5-1, Sudden Switch is one who can provide that. Waves of Mischief, the 7, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Has been going long on the turf, now trying a dirt sprint. I think that one is effective in this particular spot, perhaps, but not the kind of horse that you want to take 9-5 on. So give me Sudden Switch, also the top pick for Tom and Kim. Will we get to 5-1? Probably not, based on 3 or 4 handicappers going that direction. Scott's got that runner second as well. Sultry Last, the one, another one to keep an eye on here. David Jacobson on a class dropper. When we've seen Jacobson do this historically here at Keeneland, he's pretty successful, and it tracks around the country, obviously, on the class drops. And when he teams with Irad Ortiz here at Keeneland, he hasn't done it too often, but they're very effective working together. Irad teaming up with Jacobson with the 1 Sultry Last. I've got an 8 over the 1-7. In fact, I'll go stronger to the 8-1 exacta than an 8-7 in here, and we'll try to get by with a single in race number 3. If you're playing the early multi-race wagers, the pick 4, the pick 5, we're going to try to get by with a single in here with the outside runner, number 8, Sudden Switch. Let's move on now to the 4th race on the program. More maidens in this one, 2-year-olds on the turf in the turf mile ranks. And race number 4, no new wager start here. We talk about these races so far early in the meet at Keeneland. We've had a couple of those 2-year-old turf route races are really places where the favorites tend to struggle in here. Favorites in turf mile, 2-year-old maiden special weight races during fall meets, 8 for 40. That's 20%. That's a terrible percentage for favorites. The average winner is 9.7-1, almost a $22 mutual on horses winning these races. So 20% winning favorites, a $22 mutual. Feel free to shop around for some prices as you handicap here in race number 4. Horses with experience have won 34 of the 40 such races. So again, first-time starters, not the way you want to go, going long on the turf. You'll see one win every once in a while, but that's definitely statistically not the way that you want to lean. Number 12, Tribalism, is a first-time starter in here who looks like he might have a little bit of talent in the morning. Brendan Walsh trains. You get Tyler Gaffleone. Walsh had that big 3-win day on opening day. All of his horses running well, including maidens on the turf. But again, a first-time starter from an outside position like this for number 12, Tribalism. I'll try to beat that one if we look at, just a hot trainer. You could jump on board, but I think this is a tough spot for the Brendan Walsh trainee in this particular one in race number 4. I'm going to go with the 11, Eveready, second-time starter for Chad Brown. Made a middle move, mistime move at Kentucky Downs. A lot of horses do that. And with that marathon stretch at Kentucky Downs, you kind of make your move and you think you're going somewhere, and then all of a sudden you're retreating because you're going uphill, and through the stretch, it just keeps going and on and on and on. Good workout since that race for Eveready. Can improve second start. Flavian Pratt riding for Chad Brown. That's going to be my pick in here at 6-1. But again, if you want to get a bigger price, this is a race where you could shop around a little bit. I'm going to be looking at the tote board as we get closer and closer to to post time and hope that the odds that we get on a horse that we're looking at a price remain, juicy throughout the wagering, especially with the last click and the big call money that comes in late and the potential odds drop. So we want to make sure we get a price in these kind of races. Ever Ready at 6-1 could go down off of that. We'll see who draws into the race off the also eligible list, because the also eligibles in this race are all pretty effective too. They look like they have a fighting chance. So let's see the scratches and changes. We'll get a little more serious about the handicapping of this race tomorrow. Epic Horsepower, the 15. If that one were to draw in for Brian Lynch, might be the best value in here. I don't think he'll get bet quite as much as the Chad Brown trainee will, but the buyer figure was terrible for the Brown trainee, so maybe we can get a price on that one being let go at a number. Difficult race to handicap in advance. I think this is a good one to watch the horses in the paddock and the warm-up as well. Race number 4, pretty wide open. This is a race I think you want to spread. And again, when we look at pick 4s and pick 5s and where you want to spread in a race, you want to spread in a race not where there's like bad options, but where there's good options and where you can get a price. I mean, you're trying to spread. You're not spreading to get a 4-1 shot. You're spreading to try to get a big number. These are the kind of races in race number 4, these 2-year-old turf mile races, where you can get a price. So I think it's a good spot to spread your wings, try to get as much as you can in terms of coverage if you're playing the early pick 4 and pick 5. Speaking of 5, we're up to race number 5. Let's go to that one next. 5th race on the card starts the pick 6. No carryover in the pick 6. $1 minimum bet here at Keeneland in the pick 6. These are 2-year-old maiden special weights going 6 furlongs. And as we mentioned earlier, you can get first-time starters in these races for sure. First-time starters and horses from Churchill Downs just dominate these 2-year-old 6-furlong maiden specials like this. So that's kind of where you're looking. You're either looking to the first-time starters or the horses from Churchill. The one from Churchill in this spot is Aquazura on the outside. Didn't show much at all in the career debut for Cherie DeVoe, and her horses aren't exactly running through the screen here to start off the meet either. I would have to look at the first-time starters in this spot. And we talked about Brendan Walsh's horses running well. This is a first-time starter for Walsh that I think has a big chance. The 8 Bella Ballerina, 5-2 in the morning line, but this one's training well at Churchill Downs by Street Sense out of Pretty City Dancer. Good pedigree for the Godolphin homebred. I'm all in on this one here in race number 5. A Bella Ballerina, top choice in here for Scott as well. Third choice in there for Tom. Elite, the 7, gets a top call, and the 4 Debbie Doll also gets a top call. The 4 Debbie Doll for Chicago-based trainer Larry Ravelli. Good trainer with first-time starters. The fact that he's bringing one here for a $110,000 purse is a good sign for sure. The 7 Elite for Rudy Brisset. Second-time starter, has some experience, ran at Ellis Park in the debut, and showed a little bit of speed. Tom's going to take a shot on that one in the second career start. I've got it 8, 5, and 9 in race number 5. I think Bella Ballerina is going to be a first-time starter who's going to be very live, and I think a tough one to beat here in the 5th race. Let's move on to the 6th race on this Sunday card. Sunday at Keeneland. The 6th race starts the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. It'll be races 6, 8, and 10. It'll also start the late pick 5 sequence. So late pick 5 gets underway here in race number 6. It's also going to be my second of 3 key plays on the program. Now, if you've seen me in this podcast over the last several years and read my work at Keeneland for the last 17 plus, you know in a full field turf sprint, what are the power posts? 3, 4, 5, right? I mean, these are the posts you have to really consider. They have an inordinate win percentage, and they also create big prices. The average winner in these the average odds winners in 3, 4, 5 posts in these turf sprints is 9-1, and yet they far outperform the random chance of having 3 of the 12 entries in the field. They should win at 25%. They win around 39%, and they do so at 9-1 odds. It is advantageous in a full field turf sprint to be in post 3, 4, and 5. The numbers have bared it out over and over and over. And especially when we're in allowance company. They win almost 50% of the allowance races. 16 of 33 turf sprint allowance races with a full field of 12 or more. 16 of 33 have been won by posts 3, 4, and 5. Start your handicapping there. They don't win them all, but they win a lot, and they produce a tremendous ROI. Again, an average winner of 9-1. Number 3 before scratches is Savetta. Keep that one in mind. Brendan Walsh and Tyler Gaffleone. You don't need to be warned much more than that. The 4 grade A is Jeremiah O'Dwyer, 12-1 in the morning line. Probably the longest shot of the 3 in terms of chance, I think. And number 5, no question about it to me, is the top pick in the race. 8-1 morning line. You get Irad Ortiz riding. He's the top turf sprint trainer on the grounds, our top turf sprint jockey on the grounds at Keeneland. He wins 30% in turf sprints. Now you give him a power post. On top of it, he's got an advantageous post. He's the top turf sprint jock. Mike Trombetta's done well with this turf sprinters. Think Arzak and others who have come here over the years. No question about it, going to be my top choice in here and one of my key plays. I'm going to get this 5 in at 8-1, hopefully, and create a nice price. A lot of good options underneath them. The 9's got a big chance in here. Proud Starlet. The 8, Dream Away for Wesley Ward. Looked like she was going to be a really good one. She's kind of leveled out in her career, but she's got talent, no question about it. Some of the outside horses, GW's Girl, Brindy, Rich City Girl, 10, 11, 12. Again, they all look like horses who could be in the number as well. But I'm leaning all over the 5 on top in here. I want to get a lot of 3, 4s under, and I want to get some of those other numbers. I'm going to be spreading deep in the tries and supers, trying to go after an exotic wager in this race because you got a big field size. You've got a horse you love on top who's not a favorite. This is the perfect time to key and get in on a horse like that and try to make your day, make your weekend if you can hit a horse somewhere in this 8-1 range on top and hit a try super here in race number 6. So I love it. It's my key play of the day. It's my number 1 key play of the day of the 3 listed. As for the other handicappers here in race number 6, Proud Starlet, the 9 picked on top by Scott, the 8 Dream Away picked on top by Tom. Those are my underneath runners. The 1 Justin Queso, the 1 is top picking here for Kim. 9 and 8 also gets him underneath love. So a lot of people got the 9 and the 8 in the mix. I love the 5 on top. So maybe we work 9, 8 in the 2nd and 3rd spots and spread in, around them. 5 with the 9, 8 with all. 5 with the all with the 8, 9. And also mix in those 3s and 4s because we know what they can do. Those numbers can produce, some big-time results. So great betting race in race number 6. Very excited to jump on board with that one. To the 7th race we go next. The late pick 4 starts on this, and my 3rd and final key play. Before we get into the stakes races, we're going to finish up with our key plays here in race number 7. The pick 4 starter is a maiden special weight at 6 furlongs. And again, this is a split division of a race we saw earlier. Horses from Churchill Downs we like. We like horses who are first-time starters in these particular spots. And there's a first-time starter here I like that I'm hoping to get a price on. 15-1 in the morning line, but Scott Hazelton's on the same one, so the word might be out a little bit on Red Rays. This is going to be my pick here by Practical Joke. An outstanding sire, wins mid 20% here at Keeneland on the main track. Trainer Doug Cowens, of course, we know him from Next and some other good horses. He's a high percentage trainer who can get a horse ready to go, and this horse is working tremendously at Turfway on the synthetic. I get a feeling the pedigree and the works matching up here on the main track at Keeneland could be very effective at a price. Red Rays showing up here, first time starter, going to be my top choice. Of the horses who have run, the 4-page Turner from Saratoga, obviously one to consider in here. 2nd place finisher in the career debut. Going to get bet off that with Jose Ortiz for Cherie DeVoe. The other horses who have a little bit of experience in here come from a little bit more off Broadway from Horseshoe Indianapolis. So you're going to get money bet on Page Turner. Who else gets bet in here? Obviously the 7's going to get bet sneaky good. This is a $450,000 into Mischief for trainer Brad Cox, showing some bullet workouts this summer. It's kind of tailed off a little bit in the workout tab since the summer. The last 3 more maintenance moves. We'll see if Sneaky Good's ready to go. Certainly should be effective. I've got 10, 4, and 7 in here. I'm going to try to get Red Rays again. Another key potential play in here. As for the underneath horses, not really sure in here. This is just a straight win bet for me. And again, if I can get a daily double, 5 races 6 and 7, a 5-10 daily double with 2 key plays, no question about it, and Red Rays, we could be looking at a nice return there. That could be a 50-1 kind of return on a daily double if we can knock those 2 home. So races 6 and 7 for me are going to be key plays on the program. We go next to the 8th race on the card, and the 8th is the first of 3 stakes to wrap things up. Keeneland Turf Pick 3, second leg is in this one. It's the Indian Summer Stakes. Indian Summer Stakes for the 2-year-old colts on the turf course, and these 2-year-olds will go 5.5 furlongs for $300,000. 9 of them have entered. Schwarzenegger was a horse who was cross-entered at Santa Anita in the Speakeasy Stakes today, scratched out of that one to stay home and run here at Keeneland for trainer Wesley Ward. Schwarzenegger was one of those incredible debuts where everybody in the world was all over this horse, opened up like he couldn't get beat, and then just completely folded at the end. Well, not sure what to make of that performance. We did see Ward's horses run pretty well today. I would expect Schwarzenegger to have a bounce back effort, but I think this horse is going to be an underlay price, so I'm going to try to beat Schwarzenegger in this spot. Number 5, Obliteration, is going to be my top choice in here for Steve Asmussen. Violence, the sired the winner of this race back in 2018, Silver Stake. Asmussen won this race in 22 and 23 with horses coming via Kentucky Downs, just like Obliteration. This is a horse who was a Sanford Stakes winner at Saratoga, second out in the juvenile sprint last time out at Kentucky Downs. I'm on Obliteration here in the stakes. He is 4-1 in the morning line. As for the other handicappers, Schwarzenegger top pick in here for Tom and for Kim. Bobrovsky, the two who I've got picked third in here, 2-1 in the morning line, coming off 2 wins in a row, a stakes win in the Skidmore for Dale Romans last out at Saratoga. That'll be the top pick for Scott. Bullet workout at Churchill for Bobrovsky. You got to respect that one coming in. I've got it 5-9-2 is the way I'm going to line them up. The 9 is Azazam and George Weaver, who won this race last year in 2024. He'll try to win back-to-back. He gets Irad Ortiz. I mentioned Irad, definitely the top turf sprint jockey here at Keeneland, and you're getting 6-1 on him. So good betting race in here, but I'm going with the 5 Obliteration over the 9, the 2. Obviously, the 6 you've got to consider in here. The 1 is Wesley Ward and Flavian Pratt. There are a lot of ways you can turn in here, but Obliteration is going to be my top pick. We'll see if we can't get this one home at a fair price in the morning line at 4-1 odds. To the featured 9th we go. It's the Spinster Stakes, top race in the fall meet here at Keeneland. Not purse-wise at $650,000. We had a $1.25 million grade 1 today in the Coolmore Turf Mile. But the Juddmonte Spinster is the time-honored, tradition-rich race of the Keeneland fall meet. $650,000. It's produced a slew of Breeders' Cup Distaff winners over the years, and maybe this year it'll be another because the defending Breeders' Cup Distaff winner, Torpedo Anna, is in action. She's the 5 in a 5-horse field. 1 1/8 here at Keeneland. Fair run to the first turn. Since we went back to dirt 11 years ago, the Spinster has seen favorites win 4 of 11. And we'll see if they can pull off another one here because we have an expected heavy favorite in Torpedo Anna. I don't think she's going to get beat. There have been a couple races this year where I thought she was a bit vulnerable, and I don't think this is one of them. I think this is a spot where we can kind of count on Torpedo Anna. We know she likes the track here at Keeneland. She broke her maiden here a couple years ago. Flavian Pratt will replace Brian Hernandez, who got injured the last Sunday of the Churchill Downs meet. Best wishes to Brian in his recovery. Kenny McPeak's going to give the leg up here to Flavian Pratt, and certainly a more than able substitute. The leading jockey at Keeneland during the spring meet, Flavian Pratt, and a Past Eclipse Award winner. I think Torpedo Anna is going to be up near the pace. That's been the way to go in the Spinster. 3 of the last 4 winners of this race won the thing wire to wire. She should be up front, as should be Scylla. Nitrogen probably just behind them. Jin won't be too far off of it, but I don't think Pratt's going to let Torpedo Anna get too far out of this. I think Scylla and Torpedo Anna will control the pace, and I kind of look at this as a merry-go-round, those two all the way around. I know Nitrogen's 5-2 in the morning line, and there's some folks that have some love for Nitrogen out there, but it's a 3-year-old taking on older. She gets a 4-pound weight allowance, but not a huge allowance in this particular spot, and I know she's got a good-looking record. I mean, she's won 6 of 7 this year. She's a nose away from being undefeated on the season, but I don't think Nitrogen's run a race yet that will beat Torpedo Anna. She's going to have to make another big step forward. Torpedo Anna, to me, the one to beat in here. And nobody else. Scott's going to take a shot with Nitrogen in here, but no one else, thinking Torpedo Anna's going to run a clunker. She's picked first or second by all the public handicappers. No great shakes, no great betting race in this one. You're just trying to get through this race in a multi-race bet situation. I think you single with Torpedo Anna. I don't think it's worth the value of doubling or tripling the price of your ticket by going 2 or 3 deep. I think she'll get through this leg and move on to the Breeders' Cup. She's the reigning horse of the year. She's the reigning defending champion in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and a decent performance here will send her back to Del Mar with a chance for that title defense. Let's go to the 10th and final, and we remind you as we handicap the last race on the card, just under $13,000 in the carryover as we go to the Bourbon Stakes. Grade 2 for the 2-year-old colts. Winning you're in for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf here. And in race number 10, we've got a field of 12. On the far outside is Dr. Agni by Into Mischief out of Lady Eli. Lady Eli, of course, one of the top fillies and mares on the turf in the last 10, 20 years. As a brood mare, she had the miraculous, life-saving ordeal that she overcame, and Lady Eli able to foal this Dr. Agnew. And of course, Dr. Agnew was the doctor who helped Lady Eli nurse her through her troubles. It would be a really, really great story if Dr. Agnew were to win this. The career debut was a win at Saratoga, wasn't super fast. They went to the turf with anticipation and just ran okay. I don't know if Dr. Agnew can pull off this victory, because in order to do so, she's going to have to make up about 6 lengths on Final Score, who's the morning line favorite. Final Score he wired. I think I said Dr. Agnew as a she. It's obviously a he, a colt, Dr. Agnew, by End of Mischief. But Final Score, these are all colts in here, of course, and Todd Pletcher trains Final Score off that win in the With Anticipation, going for 3 in a row. Sire Not This Time's had a big weekend. Todd Pletcher's won this race 4 times. Pletcher coming off a big 3-win Saturday at Keeneland. I just think it all adds up to the favorite in this particular spot. It's all about Final Score and somebody else in here. Maybe you come back with the 12, Dr. Agnew, to get a little bit underneath. Vintor, the 10, coming off a good career debut at Kentucky Downs, but stretches out in distance for trainer Mark Cassie. Horses who have gone around 2 turns have had a little more success in here. 12 of the 16 winners in our database for the Bourbon Stakes were horses who went a mile or farther last time out. So Vintor is a little bit interesting on the debut. It was a really nice effort, but it was only 6.5 at Kentucky Downs. We'll see if he can negotiate 2 turns for the first time. I've got the 6 Final Score on top, also picked on top by Scott and Kim. Second choice for Tom, who goes with number 1, Turf Star. Might get a price there for Graham Motion and Tyler Gaffleone. But we'll wrap it up with some favorites. That's why when we look at, to go back and look at the snapshot of the card, it looks like a favorite in the Spinster. It looks like a favorite in the Bourbon to me. So my key plays are going to be kind of in that mid-card, 3, 6, and 7 range. Indian Summer, that was borderline for me with obliteration of making that one of the key plays. So a kind of 3, 6, 7, 8 before I've got to make my hay on this Sunday card. I think we're going to finish up rather chalky through the final couple in the program. That'll wrap things up for the podcast tonight. I want to remind you, I'll be back on Tuesday night for the next edition of the Keeneland Look Ahead podcast, when we'll look at Week 2's opener on Wednesday. So again, 8:30 Eastern, the night before the next day's races. So I'll be back on Tuesday night. Also want to remind you, if you want updated information to your email inbox through the publishing forum Substack, sign up for my Substack, jeremyplonk.substack.com, and you'll get handicapping information updated each day for Keeneland in the morning. Usually send it right after scratches come out in the 11 o'clock hour. You'll get that sent to your email inbox with my final thoughts on the card each and every race day. Also picks from around the country, stakes races, Breeders' Cup information, handicapping all year round on the Substack. So be sure to sign up for that for free. On behalf of everyone with Keeneland, I'm Jeremy Plonk from Horse Player Now, signing off for the weekend on this podcast. Again, I'll see you on Tuesday night. Have a great Sunday, everybody.